Right, right. Yeah, so the question is, how do we follow a bold Jesus into broken places or conflicts? And I'm assuming, how does that shape how we follow Jesus there? Is there a boldness with which we enter into that, or are we kind of the limp, placid, be nice to one another in there? Great question. I think I'm compelled by a Jesus who never shied away from not only entering into broken spaces, but by having a prophetic word, a strong word where needed, And there's something about the way that that Jesus entered into the lives of people and into broken spaces, where very rarely do we actually see him coming in and just blowing things up. Oftentimes, I think we watch him move into spaces compassionately, armed with curiosity. One of the features of Jesus that I most admire is the way that he asked questions and the humility with which he sought to understand. So like an example of that would be the couple on the way to Emmaus after the death of Jesus. The resurrected Jesus shows up with them and doesn't say, "You guys, don't you?" He shows up and he just simply begins to ask questions. And so there's a courage and a boldness that's required to follow Jesus into broken spaces, and then there's a humility and a compassion to sit and listen longer than feels comfortable. But then in moments, I think it's important. I do also think we see Jesus, when the time was right, he wasn't afraid to speak boldly, to call people to a better way of being human, to call people to the adventure of the God life, to call people to healing. And sometimes that looks like a tilling. Sometimes that's uncomfortable. But Jesus seemed to do it couched in relationship with excellence.